If you're looking for the right Caribbean country in which you should go to, all you have to do is look at my previous video, because there I cycle through different tools in which you can use to figure out where you should go. So just look at the last video and you should be all set. But today's video is about something different. I'm wondering, do we have passport bros all wrong? And it's a callback to a video that I put up last week in which I said, why are black men so thirsty? And I was gearing it towards just everyday life experiences, maybe college days, and even in the travel sector. And if we mix up the passport bros, why is the thirst level so high? So we're going to pause right there. Now, this week, what's been taking up the headlines is this Shannon Sharpe situation. Shannon Sharpe, a former athlete, football player, turned podcaster. A major thing that he's going through right now is that he was dealing with someone who is more than 30 years younger. And I think the biggest thing that people couldn't stomach was the female's age, because when he started dealing with her, he was already mid-50s. I think he was like 54 at the time, and she was 19 years old. So you have someone that's barely legal, and so people don't feel comfortable with that. And then people are adding the fact that how can you be with someone who is maybe younger than your own kids or your kids' age? And then people are throwing in even a racial element. And they're saying, you know, this happening because you're dealing with this type of woman, when in all actuality, it can happen with any type of woman. Anybody who's trying to extract resources, that, you know, that can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter of the background. They just, and there's examples, countless examples of it happening in, you know, with all types of females. So there we have it. Is Shannon Sharpe better being a passport bro, better off being a passport bro? Now, I say that in jest, but a person like Shannon Sharpe, I think another reason why people are upset about that is when you're famous, when you have a lot of money, you have a lot of choices of who you can deal with. So the world is kind of your oyster, right? But a regular guy, where and how can a regular guy get that type of energy? And that's when we go to the passport bros, and that's what makes the movement so strong, because in that kind of framework, a regular guy can get the type of energy like a Shannon Sharpe would. In both situations, people could be looking at resources over maybe your looks, but this is kind of like the only way in which a regular guy, for example, from the States, can get that energy. What I mean by this, like when a guy goes away, so take a passport bro. Before he even started traveling, somebody usually puts you on. And this happens to every guy, right? Somebody travels to a place like Colombia and comes back with pictures and videos, and you get it hype and you get excited. And then it's to the point where you say, I'm going to get my passport so I can experience that. Then you go over there, you kind of experience the same thing, and then you start going there multiple times. And you might find a companion over there who is giving you this energy, even if it's built on a falsehood, even if they're just trying to extract resources. Because the fact of the matter is, people are trying to extract resources everywhere, here and abroad. The difference is it might be manageable for people to go abroad to afford it better, because there's the saying, equal exchange, no robbery. So yeah, guys, even to the point where they find out that's what the person is for, therefore, they can stomach it a little better because they can manage the resources that's being extracted. And I'll give you an example. Worldwide, on average, a one-bedroom apartment costs between $300 and $600. Now, I said on average, and that's the thing. When people are watching certain things or you hearing certain things, when people speak in generalities, you're talking to the larger number. So yeah, you're gonna tell me, oh, that's not true. It's more this. I said on average, rent for a one-bedroom apartment, you name the country, like Colombia, Chile, wherever you want to name, the average apartment is between $300 to $600. So in America, and I'll use New York, always got to use New York as a standard. New York City, the cheapest 1 barrel you could probably get at this moment now, on average, is probably like 1,500, and it's not going to be in the best of areas. So 1,500 compared to your 300 to 600, and that might be in somewhat of a good area. Great weather, great food, walkable. It might be in a great area. So you're already comparing the two. So take the person who would have paid 1,500 or already paid 1,500, and now they can find somewhere that they're paying, let's say 500. So they're already saving $900 to $1,000. So if they have a case where they find a female that's maybe they're paying a few things for from that 1,000, they feel like they won. You get a better looking female that you could get. That same one is cleaning, cooking for you, things that you might not get over here. And you get to enjoy yourself in a better locale. A lot of guys will be down with that. Like it evens out. Now, if you're able to still make that US dollar and live over there, oh man, people will opt to, do exactly that. To live over there for even a year, to see how it is, to save money as well, and enjoy themselves. I remember when the pandemic started and the trend of this was going up and up and up. If you're still able to make your US money and live abroad, that was the thing to do. And that's why that's what opened the doors for a lot of places to become trendy as well. The fact that you could save so much money and make so much money. And I'll end it by this real world experience, because I've lived this, I've seen it, etc. There was a friend of mine used to have a friend who he used to work with in New York, right? And he used to always tell me, yo, my boy, he's from Bulgaria. He went back, and man, he's doing his thing. He has an online business, etc. And he was telling me this for years. And finally, one trip we went to Bulgaria. Me and my boy went to visit his boy. And when I tell you how the setup was of his apartment, and he was able to hire other people. So, and he was still making his money from the US. And he was running his online business, and he was training people on how to do certain things. Man, when I saw the apartment and the setup and just the ease and how cheap it is in Bulgaria, I'm like, this guy is winning. So even if he was making like 80, 90,000, even if you're making like 40,000 in that example, like from the US and living in Bulgaria, like you are winning. You are winning. So the fact that he was like making 80, 90, 6 figures, and with his online business, able to hire people to teach them, and then eventually he wouldn't even have to do that. Man, I was like, wow, this, like, it was just beautiful to see, especially after hearing it for so many years. So it's the same concept. If people are able to use their money and then live in a cheaper place and get the companionship that they like in a good setting, a lot of people gonna opt for that. And that's what forms what we know as the Passport Bros. It's seeing something better and wanting to opt in. Catch you on the next one.